Okay, today I am going to talk to you about that 20 seconds of insane courage that we all must endure at one point in our life, if not many. Why? Because that is when amazing things happen. I was just on the phone with one of our amazing mentors this morning, and I have been experiencing kind of like a loss for what direction I'm going. I've experienced such amazing things. I've achieved such amazing things in my life and my business. But we all kind of sometimes come to roadblocks and we need that extra direction. And talking to this amazing mentor, she helped me kind of redirect where I was in the very beginning, where that drive, what I did to make these amazing things happen. And it made me realize that I had several times in that period of time that I was really building my business and really trying to grow as a person, when I had 20 seconds of insane courage. I just pushed myself to do something that I would look back and go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Or the thought of doing it made me cringe. It was so scary. But there's a movie that I saw right before I started my business that impacted me so hard. And when I was thinking about how am I going to grow this business? How am I going to grow myself? How am I going to change my life? Literally, how am I going to transform my life into not what it is today, 5 years ago? This is what was going on in my mind. I thought about this movie, and it was called We Bought a Zoo. And the dad was trying to teach and share with his children how he met their mom. And what he did is, as shy as he was and scared as he was, he saw this woman from the window and knew he had to talk to her. But it was so scary. So he had to suck up. He's like, you know what? I can't miss this opportunity. I am going to take 20 seconds of insane courage and talk to this lady. And whatever comes of it, at least I said, I did it. I jumped out of my comfort zone and I did it. And whatever comes of it will be good things. I could feel it. And this is, don't quote me, that's not exactly what he said, but this is the message that he gave and that I received. And I'm not sure, you maybe receive a different one, but watch that movie. That's a great one. Anyways, so the quote that he said was, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, and I promise you something great will come of it. So speaking this morning and kind of recapping and kind of going back in the last 5 years of the things that I did, especially in the very beginning, that was building that foundation and building all that momentum in my business, is I was doing insanely courageous things. And one thing that came to mind is it had to been like my first couple weeks of my business. And we had still these warmers in the business that are called the collegiate warmers. So basically they're campus college collection warmers. And I really wanted to connect. I learned on a training call that you need to connect with people with similar interests in order to start that conversation. And this isn't exactly the way they said to do it, but I remembered that movie, and I was driving along this tiny little road where I used to live when I started my business in this small town, and this truck had this huge Michigan sign on the back of it, so Michigan State. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have a Michigan State warmer. This person must love their college because they're blasting it, this huge decal like they're getting money from the marketing or something on their truck, and I have to show them this warmer. And we drove, I was behind him and we came up to a light. So I turned and I got right next to him, and at the light, the red light, I jumped out of my car. No joke, guys, jumped out of my car, had the page already open, and stuck my hand in his car window and showed him, look what I have. And he looked at me like I had 15 heads and almost like, you are crazy. And I don't think he even connected because he was so shocked of what I was doing that he put his foot to the metal and almost took my arm off, guys. I mean, my hand was still in his truck when he started going, like, you are crazy, woman. Now, you guys are probably thinking, okay, you didn't get a very good result out of that, Jess. Where's this promise? You said you promised me great things if I do this. Well, yes, you're right. This specific 20 seconds of courage didn't give me the results that I was looking for. It actually put me to tears. I got in my car and I was shaking. I was so humiliated and embarrassed. I was like, oh, how could you do that, Jessica? What are you thinking? I mean, I said every horrible thing in the book to myself of just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is not for me. I can't do this. Well, what stopped me was I was on my way to an appointment with a business owner. It was my first business that ever showed interest. Well, she was the first business that I walked into originally, like a couple days prior, and said, hey, I'm trying to get my business out there. I'd love to share this with you and your clients. Would you mind if I put this warmer in your office to share Scentsy with you? And then just so I can see, you can give me some feedback on what your clients are saying about it. And she was like, okay, yeah, you could do that. And so I was going back to talk to her about possibly doing a basket party. And so I had to sit there shaking and all, crying in my car. I can't do this. This is too humiliating. This is too hard, and I literally had to stop and go, okay, you have somebody that's waiting for you. You have somebody that's interested in your business. Just because this guy wasn't, and looking back, I can see why he wasn't, because I scared the crap out of him. Those emotions that I had going on from that 20 seconds of courage is what pushed me to keep going. I was so distraught that I was like, you know what? I can't end it like this. I can't end my business feeling this way. I can't. I have to make it right. And so what I did is I pushed through, and because when I thought about it, I was like, Jess, yes, it was humiliating, but you're still alive, right? This person I'm going to has no clue what just happened. All they know is you're coming to share. And so I had to have that pep talk with myself. And even though this 20 seconds of courage didn't give me the results, it made me realize that if I can make it through that, I can do it. I can get through anything, because that was the most humiliating 20 seconds of my life. And so I went to this office, shook myself off, remembered and reminded myself she has no clue. It's not like she was watching like, oh gosh, this crazy woman. And she had no clue what just happened. So I walked in there as I would have if that 20 seconds didn't happen. And I went in there saying, I'm going to make a result out of this action that I'm taking because I have control over it. And it was the mindset that I switched. Instead of letting myself continue to say, I can't do this, you're horrible, why did you do this? This guy thinks you're crazy, you are crazy, Jess. All the things I was saying, I had a choice to keep my mindset there. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let this guy who made me feel like crap, which again is not his fault, but he really made me feel like crap. I told myself, he's the one that's losing out, because if he would have paid attention to what I was saying, he would have loved it. And I kind of had to like give myself that advice, even though, again, he had a really good logical reason to think I was crazy. But sometimes we have to put ourselves out there in order to get that other moment to happen. Because would I have been as determined to create that relationship, determined to book that party with her, and courageous enough to ask her to join if I didn't go through that 20 seconds of humility? Even though it started out with courage, it was 20 seconds of humiliation. Sorry. So I can honestly tell you guys now, looking back, no, I wouldn't have. I would have went there talk to her about the basket party, and that's it. But I was so pumped and actually proud of myself that I pushed myself through that I wanted to challenge myself even further. I was like, if I can get through that, I can get through her saying no about joining. And guess what, guys? She joined. This businesswoman that I thought going there was too busy, too successful, had too much money to join, to want to join this business. And she thought it was a brilliant idea. And it was, right? So this message to you today is ask yourself, have I really put myself out there to make amazing things happen? Have I really stepped out of my comfort zone? And I challenge you now to do it, because amazing things happen. Amazing things happen. Before I let you go, I'm going to share with you another 20 seconds of courage that I did, which actually did become a good result directly from that courage. I was on a training call one day and I was listening, and they said, do you know your neighbors? And I was like, no, I don't know my neighbors. And I had lived there for a year. I didn't know anybody but my neighbor across the street. And here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I only knew her because my husband is a social butterfly, and he went over there and talked to my neighbors. I was just not like that. I just not the kind of person that starts conversations with people until they start with me. I know, guys, doesn't seem like it's the truth, but I'm here to tell you it's still that way. I have to find a comfort zone in order to start a conversation, but I've gained skill over the years to learn how to start the conversations in a comfortable way. So I've learned how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Okay. But it's a skill I developed over years that I was willing to develop and learn how to do and try from trial and error. Okay. So this call asked if I knew my neighbors, and I had to be honest with myself. No, I don't. So they challenged us on this call to go and meet your neighbors, and amazing things can happen. So I literally, while I was on the phone with my earpiece listening, I started packing my bag with warmers and bars and samples and catalogs. And I said, I'm going to do it right now, because if I don't do it right now, I'm not going to do it. So while I was listening to the call, I marched myself outside my house and knocked on the first door that was the community, the house is right behind us. And I knocked on the first door. And do you know that that first door was one of the most friendliest people that I didn't even know lived right behind me? And we started talking about movies and books we loved. She ended up buying a warmer that she loved. And guess what, guys? She's been on my team since that day. And it's been 5 years. She's celebrating her 5-year anniversary soon. Yay! Hi, Kristen. And then I kept going, and I got a lot of no's. I got a door slammed on my face, which was a little, it took me back, kind of had to wipe away the tears. It didn't feel good, but I kept pushing myself, guys. I did courageous things that was scary, that didn't feel good, that I did get no's. I did get doors slammed on my face. But do you know what the last door that I pushed myself to go to? Because I was like, oh, I can't get any more humiliated anymore. I can't beat myself up anymore. But let me to do one more house. Well, do you know who was behind that house, that door? After I got one yes, and then probably about 10 no's in between, that final house, she was so grateful that I came, because she knew what Scentsy was but didn't know a consultant. And I invited her to my to a open house that I had at the end of the month, or end of the week. I'm sorry, at the end of the week. And I said, hey, come by, smell the scents. I'd love to have you. And I lent her a warmer for that week so she can try it, because she'd never used it before. She knew what Scentsy was, but she'd never had an opportunity to try it. So I was like, here, take this warmer, borrow it, see how much you love it. At the end of the week, bring it back to the party, come to my party, and we'll go from there. So she booked a party, guys. She came, she booked a party, and guess who I met at her party? One of my dearest friends now, which I still get emotional when I tell this story, because it's just so amazing, because I'm so proud of myself that I went through that humiliation. I challenged myself. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And the thought of this person not being in my life brings me to tears now. Just the thought, like, oh my gosh, if I didn't do that, she would not be a part of my life. And she's not only one of my greatest dearest friends, but she's one of my rock stars. She's a director. She's the first director that ever achieved director on my team. And we've grown together. We've learned together. We've cried together. And I want you guys to have that feeling, that relationship, that camaraderie, that community that you can build just by stepping out of your comfort zone, just by having that 20 seconds of courage. You can do it. Please share with me below. You guys don't really comment on my videos, so I never know what you guys think, if these are helpful for you or not. Please, please, please comment below, at least for this video. Share with me your experiences of your 20 seconds of courage, and that would mean so much to me. I can't wait to root you on and cheer you on, because I know if I could do it, you guys can. Because like that quote said, I promise you, great things will come out of it. All right, have a sensational day, and until next time, go out there and have that 20 seconds of courage. Bye.